Hi everyone, this is Tuplex. Welcome back. Today we're going to continue working on getting our uranium processing up and running. We've got the acid, we've got the mining. Now we need to get over there with some centrifuges and start processing the uranium. So I crafted 10 of them. I think 10 will be enough. Laser turret damage 6 is complete. Let's do 7. We'll max out our laser turret. What do you call them? Capabilities. That's the word I'm looking for. That'll help with the defense of the base. All right. So let's head over to the uranium place. Actually, let me put that at the bottom of the list. I'm going to try to keep these in alphabetical order as much as possible. I think I'd also like to make another RoboPort for my armor. Fill that last slot that I've got. We'll do that in a little while. Okay. Now the other thing that I'm going to need here, whoops, sooner or later, is a supply station. So let me copy this part. Actually, I guess I just want the rail. I'm probably making this more difficult than it needs to be. Let's see. That goes right there. Oh, I don't have any rail on my person. There we go. And then this joins up there. Okay, now in this case, we're going in the opposite direction. Do I have a station? No, I do not. We'll put it right there. The supply train can be 1-4, perhaps even smaller than that. There. I'll put those back in. Let's put the rest of those rails back in. Okay. And then we'll need a signal coming out of there and 2 chain signals going in. Okay, so this will be uranium 1 supply. And what the supply is going to be for is bringing in repair packs, laser turrets, and things like that to maintain the defenses over here. Okay. So let's set up the processing, and then we'll set up the processing first, and then I'll build up the defenses around here. Okay. So, pardon me. I think I'll just start with 1 belt of uranium, and we'll see if that'll be enough. So we're going to set this up for uranium processing. We've got a 0.7% chance to get uranium 235. Which is the one that we need for fuel. And then all the rest of it's going to be uranium 238, which is not quite as good, but still has a use. So that's 2, 4, and 5. All right, and this takes 10 seconds, has a crafting speed of 0.75. So it's actually a little bit longer than 10 seconds. And it uses 10 uranium ore. So 1 per second times 10. Yeah, so 1 belt is 1 red belt is definitely more than enough to feed this. And that's why I didn't really want to bother covering this whole patch with mining drills, because we really don't need it. Uranium doesn't get used up as quickly as, iron and stone and things like that. let's feed this with some power. And then we'll just do that. Okay. And then we'll output off to the side. I'll just put this onto yellow belts. Okay. All right, so turret damage has been maxed out. We'll do the next few levels of turret shooting speed. Let's check our power. Let's check our fuel supply. Fuel is good. We're maxed out. Our buffer's completely full. So we'll keep doing research as long as that holds true. All right, and then what I'm going to do here is put these into provider chests. Okay, and eventually this will all need to be covered by the robot network anyway, so that we can do repairs and stuff on the defenses. So I'll put this one here. That way it'll be able to pick up items from the supply station. And then we can go there. And we'll put the next one right there. There. Okay, so far we haven't gotten any uranium-235 yet. Once we have that, we can turn it into fuel. And that's going to require iron plates too. So let's go back to the base. Well, first of all, let me put down a couple of turrets here. Just in case. Okay, we'll do turret speed 6. All right, so let's go back to the base. I'm going to need to make another centrifuge to make the fuel cells. And then I'll grab some furnaces to make iron plates, and we'll grab some more construction bots as well. All right, so for the centrifuge, I need concrete, red circuits, and steel. Actually, let's make 2. And we need gears. I'll make 2 because we'll need a centrifuge for fuel reprocessing as well. Okay, now we need red circuits. One, 2. Okay. And then we should also get some productivity modules for the fuel cells. So I'm going to craft 1, 2 of those by hand, which is horrible, but it's going to take a while to get done. But those fuel cells they're a great thing to use productivity modules on, because it saves you a lot of the relatively precious uranium-235, and and it's not a process that needs to run very fast, so you don't really care about the loss of speed. You know, you don't need to put speed modules on it or anything, at least not until you have a really huge factory that's using a lot of electricity. Okay, so we do have, I forgot the electric furnaces. Criminy. Okay. Actually, it'll probably be faster if I just run back. Let's get a stack of electric furnaces. And we're making those over here, right? Yep. There we go. Okay, I got it. Thanks. Those robots really need to go faster. Okay, awesome. And one more. Okay, how are we doing on acid? Oh, we've used about half of it already. All right, let's... Do I want productivity modules in these two? Sure, why not? Of course, that's going to increase my power consumption, which has me a bit worried. How are we doing? We're consuming a little bit more than we're producing, so after this research is done, I'll put a hold on the research for a while. Okay. And I needed logistics bots too, actually. Okay. Well, I'll put construction bots in here, and I'll throw in half of my repair packs just so we got that set up. All right. So we need to come down here and make some iron plates. All right, so what I'll do is I'll set up, let's say 5 furnaces. I'll put a mining drill on each one. Okay. Let's do productivity modules. All right, and then I'll put some provider chests. That's 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1. There. Okay, and that should give us all the iron plate that we're going to need. And then we'll throw in a couple turrets. And we could actually surround that with walls just to be on the safe side. So let's grab a few wall sections. And we need a roboport down here as well. Okay. Okay, so we're all set there. Now we can make the fuel. which I'll do, oops, up here. All right, so this one will make the, oh, and we're going to want to do Coverx enrichment as well. Actually, okay, yeah, I just need a regular machine to make the fuel. All right, we've got three of these uranium-235s. So I think what we're going to want to do before we start making fuel cells is get ready for Coverx enrichment. Because with that, you can essentially make as much uranium-235 as you want. You take 40 of the uranium-235 plus 5 uranium-238s, and you get 41 uranium-235 and 2 238s out. So with this, you can make a lot more of the 235 than you're going to get from just this standard processing. All right, so we're going to want to get this started as soon as we can. That takes 50 seconds. So I think we should have a couple machines doing that. And this is where you want productivity modules as well. Okay, so we'll put a hold on any further research at this point. Because version 17 is coming out this month, I don't know exactly when yet, but you know, it could be very soon. But because it's coming out next month, normally I wouldn't make a rocket in the starter base, but I think I'm going to do that just so that we can at least complete a rocket launch and, you know, complete like a traditional non-megabase game in this series, because I do intend to start a new series when version 17 comes out. Okay. So what we're going to want to do there is we're going to wait till we have 40 of these Coverx pieces, or 40 of these uranium-235 pieces, and then we'll get this process started. Now these won't take productivity modules. They will take speed modules though. So we'll make some level 3 speed modules to put in there to speed that process up. And then once we have the uranium, we'll set up, you know, in the past I've set up circuits so that you only use 40 pieces, because normally you'll have the machines will try to load 2 cycles worth of material. Okay, so you can see that it's going to take a long time before I get 40 pieces of uranium. And if I just use belts or something to feed this, then these are going to try to feed in up to 80 pieces of uranium just to run. And they only need 40. And by having 80 tied up in this loop, that's uranium that we could be using to make fuel to run the reactors. Right, so I'll typically set up some circuit that will make it so that it'll only feed in 40 and then it'll stop so that the rest of the uranium can come out. But I'm going to have to go back and look how I did that before, because I don't recall off the top of my head what the design was of that circuit. So we'll just let this continue to run for a while. Let's see. Why don't we... Maybe what we can do now is set up the supply train. And let's wall this in. Okay, so for now, I'll put the wall over here. And this will just be a very simple wall. And then we'll we'll put turrets around it. Actually, let's move this over a bit. Okay, and I'm going to need to make some gates. I'll need 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. There we go. Let me grab the rest of my walls here. All right, and then we'll extend this up north as well. Okay. Now let's set up our defenses. Oops. We don't need that. Nope, too close. Okay, and then we don't need this anymore since this is already enclosed in the wall. Now, one trick that we can do on the defenses to take advantage of the way that the biter AI works, if you leave them a gap, the biters will try to go through the gap rather than attack the walls. So if you put a gap every once in a while in between your laser turrets, then when the biters come, they should try to go through this gap, and then if you have enough turrets around it, you can shoot them one by one as they come through the gap in the walls. So I'm going to do this sort of a thing periodically along the wall. Okay, my gap is not consistent. We'll take that out. At least I thought I took it out. There we go. And hopefully this will help, you know, just prevent a lot of damage from being done on the walls. We'll do this every other one, let's say. And we'll see how this does. Now, I'm not exactly an expert at base defense because, as you all know, I often play without biters. So this might not be the optimal wall design. In fact, I'm sure it's not the optimal wall design. But hopefully it'll be fairly effective. Okay, how are we doing here? We've got 4 uranium-235. Okay, so it's going to be a while before we're ready to start processing. So we'll just let that run in the meantime. Okay, now let's set up a supply stop for our supply train. I think we can do it as a 1-2. And we are going to want to bring in things like, let's make some filter inserters. Maybe even a 1-1. Let's see if we can do it as a 1-1 train. Okay, and we're going to want to bring in robots. We're going, construction bots in case bots get destroyed. We're going to want to bring in repair packs. And we should probably bring in some walls. Maybe turrets as well. And power poles. Okay. I think that'll be good for now. And then, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a constant combinator to indicate what it is that I want to have in my supplies. Okay, so I'd like to have, let's say, 50 repair packs. I'd like to bring in, let's say, 5 power poles. Probably just having 1 spare laser turret will be good. And let's say we want to have at least 10 construction bots. And I know I have more than that right now. I think I put in 50. So let me take some out. And I'll take that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So we've got 10 construction bots in here. And then what we'll do is we'll look at what we have versus what we're asking for, and then we'll pull off of the train based on the difference. Okay, so I'm going to need an arithmetic combinator. I think I'm going to need a decider as well. And we'll set this up here. Let's get a signal off of this roboport. All right, so this way we can read the contents of the robot network. Here I'll put in some repair packs, right? So we can see now we have the repair packs there, among other things. Yeah, see, I'd also like to read the robot statistics, but I can't do both. But I could read that off of another roboport with a green circuit. Okay, so total construction bots is going to be the signal T, which we can see is a 10. So we just need to feed this signal down here as well, and that'll tell us how many construction bots we have in the network. Okay. Yeah, so let's take the arithmetic and we're going to multiply what we have by -1. So we're going to take each times -1 and output as each. All right, so we can see that that's giving us negative values of what's in the system. And then I'm going to make another one of these. I'll hook that up to the green circuit. And I'm going to take T times -1. And I'm going to output it as a construction bot signal. Okay. And then if I add all that together, let's see. All right, then I can see I have positive values on power poles and on laser turrets, because those are the two items from here that where I have less than the requested amount. Right, and then we can use that and I think I don't need quite so many of these. I think 2 ought to be enough. Right, and then we can use this to set filters. So when the supply train comes, it'll only take off what we need and nothing else. And then as soon as we reach the threshold that we want, then these filters will clear and it'll stop unloading. Now, one thing I would also like to do is set this up so that, like for example, I've got 50 repair packs. I don't necessarily want the train to come here every time I have less than 50 repair packs. So the other thing I want to do is put some logic on here that will tell the train, that will turn this station on and off based on these values. So like if I don't have any spare laser turrets, then I probably want to bring the train. But for everything else, I could be at 0. So maybe I need another one of these that tells me when to bring the train. So let's try this. If I put in another arithmetic combinator. And I'll use a green circuit there so I don't contaminate the signals. Okay, so what if I take each and divide by 2, let's say, and then output as each. All right, let's set the turrets at 2, just so that this works. Okay, so now that says 1. Okay, and then I can put my decider here. Okay, yeah, and then if I take this red signal, no, I need a green wire. No, I do need a red wire. Okay, what I want to do is I want to take this red signal that tells me what's needed. And if what's needed is more than half of what our desired quantity is, then it'll bring the train. Right, that's why I'm dividing by 2. Okay, so this is the threshold to bring the train. All right, so I need another arithmetic combinator. And in this case, I'm just going to multiply it by 1. Because all I want this for is I want to take this same red signal, and I want to make a copy of it that's isolated from this network. Otherwise, when I join these things together, what I have coming out of this combinator will get added into the signal over here, and it'll mess that up. So I don't want that to happen. I want this to be an isolated signal. So this is how you can kind of just create a buffer. Okay. So now, if I add these together, okay, no, this one actually should be negative, right? Okay, I'm outputting 25, 5, 2, and 1. And then I take what I have and multiply it by -1. Okay, no, I think I still want that to be 1. This I should divide by -2. Okay, great. Yeah, so now this is saying that we've got a positive signal of 3 poles and 1 turret, because I don't have any spare turrets. Okay, so if we have anything positive here, then we want this station to turn on. And that's where we'll use the decider combinator. Okay, we'll go fix that in a moment. All right, so here we're going to say if anything is greater than 0, then we'll output a green signal. We'll feed that to the train station, and we'll tell it to enable if green is greater than 0. Okay. So I think that'll work. We might be able to clean this up a bit, but this should do what we want. In the next episode, we'll set up the supply train on the other end and try it out, see if it works. I'll have to go down there and clean up that biter attack. In fact, I'll do that now. I'm just going to send my train back. And I'll run down, because I think I'll get there quicker if I run than if I take my train. So, thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Appreciate it as always. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.